you are experienced in the field of gratitude or not, you need to watch this video until the end, because I know that if you apply this, that your life is going to get better. What does better even look like? Well, for everybody, that's different. We all have something in our lives that we want to improve on, whether it's our health and fitness, or our finances, or we want to manage our time better, or we want more patience, or more presence, more connection in life. Whatever it is that you want to improve in your life, gratitude is your answer. I'm Candace Bester from Grit, and I am super excited to be bringing you the 15th episode of our Grit community series. So I just want to say, if you haven't watched all 15 that are on our YouTube channel, please subscribe. And even better, sit there and think about somebody who you know could do with this kind of motivation, introspective, moving forward in their lives, and send them the link to the YouTube video. Don't keep the stuff to yourself. Let's spread the love. So how I understand it is that you're probably going to fall within one of these three categories. It's important to note that there's not one that's better than the other. There's no right or wrong one. Wherever you are at is exactly where you need to be, but there's a great level of awareness that will happen when you look at these categories. So just look at these categories and ask yourself, where do you think you fall in? So if you fall into category number 1, it means that gratitude is probably quite a foreign concept for you. You might pray and say thank you. You might be grateful for things that people do and say thank you in that way, but you don't have a practice of gratitude. It's not something that you think about often. It's quite a foreign concept. So that's category number 1. Category number 2 is you've been introduced to gratitude already. So there is some gratitude practices in place, but it's kind of up and down. It's not as consistent. And you do know that you could apply yourself more in this area. So that's category number 2. And then lastly, I call it you infiltrating gratitude into every area of your life. You're feeling it, you're seeing it, you have practices in place, you're shifting with it. So those really are the 3 categories. So ask yourself, which category am I in? The next thing that I want to go through is benefits of gratitude. I could do an entire video just on the benefits of gratitude. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go to the ones that I think will be the most appealing to you, the ones that I, for myself, find that motivate me to keep going. For me, it's all about how I feel. So how I feel, if I'm going through my day feeling content and joyful and hopeful and calm and present and connected, then I don't care what's going on in my life. I am feeling like I'm rocking it. That to me actually is the definition of success. How I feel is my definition of success. It doesn't mean when I'm feeling the negative feelings that I'm not being successful, but ultimately I'm striving to feel those feelings, and that's what I'm focusing. That's a lot of my day spent focusing on making sure that I'm feeling those feelings. So there are so many areas of our lives, and the one thing that I realized was, even though I thought I was a grateful person, the areas in my life that I was struggling with were the areas that I was actually being very, very ungrateful for. So at the time it was my finances, and I realized that I was complaining so much, and just complaining about how much things cost, how money doesn't last, how it's never enough, it's never enough, it's never enough. And when I realized that I'm being blessed in so many ways, and instead of standing at the counter and complaining about the price of food, that I stand there with my 2 bags of groceries and go, I'm so very grateful I can pay for these 2 packets of groceries. And so whatever area of your life that you're struggling with, just ask yourself that introspective question. What is my dialogue around this area? Do I complain a lot? Am I thinking negative thoughts? And if it's your health and fitness, you can say things like, I'm so lucky to be able to walk. I'm so lucky to be alive. Find the blessings within the challenges and then notice how those things improve. The feelings of gratitude, which I'm speaking about, it's a full feeling. Think about a time in your life when you were feeling very blessed, and I mean really blessed, like loved and blessed, and another word for blessed is thankful or lucky. You just felt so lucky. How did that feel? And then think about a time in your life when things were going wrong. It was never enough. You were chasing something and it was just not happening. And it was just, how did that feel? The most empty feeling. Can you see? It's chalk and cheese. It's polar opposites. And it's coming from what you're focusing on. It's coming from your perception, and that you probably are missing a whole lot of blessings that are already there. It seems to me the definition of insanity is, I will be happy when. I will be happy when I have 3 months saved up so I don't need to worry. I will be happy when the weekend comes. I will be happy. The weekend is going to be 2 days out of the 7. You absolutely need to enjoy the 5 days leading up to that. That is what the bulk of your life is made up of. And that is where the gratitude comes in. You get to enjoy every single moment, the journey, and then when the destination comes there, yes, it's a celebration, and yes, it's amazing, but the whole journey was amazing too. And that really is what our lives add up to, isn't it? How do I infiltrate? How do I get to the category of infiltrating gratitude into my life? Because I want to feel all these benefits. I want things to get better, and I want these areas of my life to improve. So I have 6 tips that I have for you today. Take out a pen and paper and let's write them down. Tip number 1, keep a gratitude journal. Keep it next to your bed and dedicate it just to gratitude. First thing in the morning, not last thing before you get into bed, not in the middle of the day. First thing in the morning, set your alarm for earlier, grab your pen and paper and journal 10 things that you are grateful for and why. The why is really important, because when you see that, the why is going to show you how it's changing your life. It's one thing to say, I'm grateful for coffee, but when you're like, oh my goodness, for that whole time that I'm drinking the coffee, I'm in my happy place. Oh, that's where the feeling is going to come from. It's going to come from the why. So every morning before you start your day, you're going to journal 10 things that you're grateful for and why. Then you're going to read them out loud to yourself, really breathe into it, feel the feelings, look at your life from the perspective of, I am so very blessed. A gratitude journal is tip number 1. Tip number 2 is choose pockets of time in your day where you're going to just kick into gratitude. Maybe you make 5 cups of coffee in a day, and just being grateful during those times, think about how much time that is adding up to. Because what is the alternative? You're busy making coffee and you're thinking about all the hundreds of things that you have to do next, or the client that didn't call you back, or the company that isn't appreciating you. So instead, okay, now I'm going to make coffee. So for the next 3 minutes, all I'm going to do is speak out all the things I have to be grateful for. It can be the coffee you're making, but it can also be looking at what has happened in your morning and picking the things. It can be what happened yesterday. It can be a certain person in your life that you just go through. Number 3 is first thing in the morning, as your eyes wake up, say the words, thank you. Just say the words, thank you, and watch what happens. That is so easy, so easy to start, isn't it? Tip number 4 is wherever you walk in the day, just say the words out loud, thank you. Literally, one foot is thank and the other foot is you. Think about that. it, you walk to your car and all you've said is thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. By the time you get into your car, you are feeling so blessed. You haven't even thought about what you're thankful for. You've just said the words because your words are an energy. And if you don't believe me, literally, I have a testimony. I'm testimony to this. The one morning my little boy was in such a bad mood. He didn't want to go to work. It was such a fight to get out the house. And as we got out the house, I said to him, okay, I've got a challenge for you. As you walk to the car, every step you take, you're going to say the words, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we got into the car and he strapped himself in and he looked at me literally in the rearview mirror. I saw the biggest smile on his face and his words were, Mom, I don't know what's happening here, but something's going on. Like he could feel his face smiling. And he was so grumpy 2 seconds before that. So just saying the words thank you as you're walking is going to help so much with your gratitude. Tip number 5 is, and this is really, like, I don't want to say a challenge, but it's really an area of growth. To find the parts of your life that are challenges and difficult and try to find gratitude in those difficult times. So sometimes you're having the worst day ever and you want to shift. And so you're like, okay, so I hate my job right now. I absolutely hate my job right now. But I'm going to sit here and just find 5 things to be grateful for my job. I have something to wake up to every morning. I have a salary. Even if it's not what I want, don't go there. Just, I have a salary. 5 things to be grateful. I have a best friend at work. They have free coffee. I don't know. There will definitely be 5 things. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to start to feel better about going to work every day. And isn't that quite important? You get up and go there every day. And then tip number 6, and this might be a bit uncomfortable when you start off, is to extend that gratitude towards yourself and to really start to thank yourself for who you are. So it will be things like, Candace, I'm so thankful that you get to show up every morning. I'm so thankful to you, Candace, because you showed me patience today. I'm so thankful because you helped a friend today. Can you see this is actually an identity shift, and you start to feel so good about yourself when you start to look at who you are and say those things out loud and add those into your gratitude journal. It's not arrogance. It's not ego. Do you know what is arrogance and ego? Is when you go and tell everybody about this. When you go and brag about it, when you boast about it, when you show it out to people, and when you compare yourself in front of other people. This is a private thing. It's an internal job. And if you can't acknowledge yourself and be grateful for yourself and build yourself up, you are always going to be looking externally for people to do it. And when they don't do it, you're going to feel unappreciated, unloved, unimportant, unseen. And so how amazing. I just want to remind you that gratitude is in your control, it is free, and it is freely accessible to you at any time, in any place. So if you are not feeling great in any moment, notice that you're not and shift into, okay, gratitude. I've got a client meeting in half an hour. I have to get through this whole lot of work. I don't want to dread that client meeting. So I'm going to just kick into gratitude. I'm going to sit here and go through 10 things I'm grateful for and why. Do you know what? That doesn't even take 1 minute. Do you know what else? You look at your laptop and the work flows better. Do you know what else? You get to your client meeting and that goes better too. And all these little pockets add up. And can you imagine after a week, after a month, after a year, after 2 years, how this is going to improve your life? So thank you for watching my video. Gratitude is such a passion of mine, and I know that I'm not perfect in this area, and I have so many things that I want to get better at and apply this to. But I just hope that something in this video really resonated for you. I hope that you took notes. I hope that you saved this video. And like I said, if you just start with one thing and add on every week something new, game changer. So until next week, I'm signing out.